Isn't patriarchy just the natural evolution of men and women just giving into their expected roles?
No, because not every woman is reproducing. Not every woman wants to be a woman. Not every woman wants to have kids. So if you're putting women in this position where it's only put to reproduce, then you're silencing every other voice that we have. We're not only here to reproduce, and men aren't here to be laborers. So when you put it in that way, what are you saying? We're just here to pop out babies?
Well, did I ever say all women are all men? I'm just generalizing and saying...
Yeah, you're generalizing, and that's an issue.
What's good, YouTube? This is KB LaFleur. You can call me KB. Welcome back to another video, man. We got It's Complicated. But before we even get into that, man, do me a huge favor. Leave me a like, leave me a comment, and leave me a subscribe. So the title of this video is Ladies First, Rules of Modern Dating and Understanding Modern Dating. And this is, I feel like, man, this is going to be pretty good, man. I feel like this is a discussion we need to have because this is something that's been going on for years. This is something that's been going on for years. And it was never really a problem, but, you know, once women start to sit up here and say, you know, that they're oppressed, and even though they pretty much got more rights than men, and all of this stuff, you know, it then becomes an issue, and now we have to actually talk about it. And once again, this is stuff, man, that we have known for years. But y'all see what I'm talking about.
If women have been historically oppressed, where did the expression ladies first come from?
Cuz let the bitches go. You gotta let the ladies go first. The ladies, look at her. Like, look, why wouldn't you let her go first?
We real bad bitches. You gotta let a real bad bitch go. Like, it came from men believe.
Well, what about the ugly women? Not every woman in this world is a bad bitch. So what about these ugly women? We don't hold the door for them. And any ladies go first for them. But this question also goes with, well, what about asking a woman's weight? What about asking a woman her age? Anytime you do that, you are shamed for that. Why you sitting over here asking a woman her weight? You're very disrespectful. Why you asking a woman her age? You're very disrespectful. Once again, we can sit up here and say women are oppressed, but yet we got all these stupid rules that sit over here and shame a man for asking a woman her age or her weight. But once again, somehow, you know, some of these women swear that they're oppressed.
Even that women are so, like, I guess, dainty and fragile that they put women first, because that comes from misogyny and the patriarchy as well.
What is patriarchy, and why do so many women complain about it?
Patriarchy is outdated and non-existent.
Okay, would you agree, though, that it's defined as a system of society or government in which men hold the power and women are largely excluded from it?
Okay, yes, we're talking about like 1600s England.
All of the rules of our society were created by men. All of the positions of power are held by men, for the most part. And every aspect of how our society functions was decided by men.
I would say that the patriarchy is a system put in place that...
But would you then, but see, my thing is, would you then still sit up here and say, well, you know, okay, well, see, here's the thing, right? A lot of people will say that, right, and say that's patriarchy. And if we're going to use that example, sure, fine. But the thing is, right, once again, women are saying that patriarchy is bad. So here's the thing, right? Women sitting up here saying, well, the world is ran by men, all these laws are put up by men, It's a patriarchy, the patriarchy is oppressing men. Well, let's just say, right, because women want to be in those positions, right? So let's just say if the roles reverse, let's just say we slowly transition into that and all women are, you know, in those positions. So would we still say it's still patriarchal, right? Because let's just be real. If we're allowing these women to be let's just say we switch roles, right? What will we say then, right? Because now men will be oppressed. Let's just be real. Men will be oppressed because we have women up here in Australia that's saying men should have a curfew.
I would argue that at the next opportunity for any bill that's appropriate, I might actually put in an amendment to create a curfew for men on the streets after 6 p.m., which I feel would make women a lot safer.
Right? So we're just going to be technical. If we're just going to be real, if roles reverse, nothing will change. Nothing will change, and men will be more oppressed than ever, right? So women swear that they're oppressed right now. But if roles were reversed, women sitting over here taking control of everything, I promise you, men will be 10 times more quote unquote oppressed. And I think that would be real oppression, because once again, you have women up here, you have your feminists, because these are the people that want to run the country, that want to run countries, that want to run the world, that wants to run the world. If you put them up there, a bunch of feminists, men will be really oppressed. Because think about it. You have women that sit, once again, you got women up here in Australia saying, hey man, men should have a curfew. You got women that sitting up here saying, you know, hey, if you stare at a woman for too long, you should be arrested. You got women that sit up here and say, well, you know, women are oppressed, but they sitting over here supporting Megan Thee Stallion, even with all that information that's coming out. But once again, these are the women that want to run the world. These are the women that swear that they're oppressed. So it's just like, man, if we do allow y'all women to become heads of a country and head of the world, do you really think the world will be a better place? It wouldn't. Women swear that, oh man, there wouldn't be no controversy, there wouldn't be no wars and this and that. When people have to understand certain wars had to happen, because yeah, some folk out here, man, that was just trying to just overtake the whole world, and it was going to be negative. So the women, so women that sit up here and say, well, you know, men always starting wars. Some wars had to have happened, because if you didn't, the world wouldn't be the way it is right now. Hell, Hitler will probably have this whole world turned upside down if we allowed him to do whatever the hell he wanted to do. If we're allowing Putin to do whatever the hell he wanted to do. If let's just say America is ran by women, right? And you got Putin over here. Women will sit up here and, oh, well, you know, hey, well, we're not going to sit over here and argue with Putin. You know, we're women. You know, we're not going to try to sit over here and start wars and this and that. And it's like, okay, you don't want to start no war. But when they come over here and they overtake the shit, what you going to do? What are you going to do? Oh, well, you're just going to sit here and say, well, listen, we're women. We're not going to have a war. We don't want war. We just want peace. It doesn't work that way. Not everybody's looking for peace. So, yeah, man, like I said, man, when you want women, like I said, when you try to have women to sit over here and take these higher positions and try to, you know, run a country, it's not going to end well. Let's just be real.
Helps white men specifically, right?
Okay.
In putting them into positions of power. So
my fault for pausing again. Hey, tell me this girl don't look like a light-skinned version of Megan Thee Stallion.
That they can continue taking care of the system instead of dismantling it. Because anyone who has a real opinion and goes into the system trying to fix it is silenced. And that's a fact.
Why do people believe patriarchy was built by men to serve men if men are victims of their own design?
That's an excellent question, because guys sometimes don't think of it. There are sensitive men out there, and they do get put down for it.
If we live in a patriarchy, why are men held more accountable than women?
Well, because, you know, we're the forefront of things. We're always going to be the forefront of things when we go to war, when we, you know, are the face in the public, you know, presidency and all that, when it comes to status, the highest level of status.
Is that a privilege or is that a responsibility?
I believe it's a responsibility.
Because we're men. Like you said, we do. You said we designed everything. We do everything, so everything comes back on us. The blame.
Is that male privilege or is that male responsibility?
Male responsibility.
So why do so many people think we have male privilege when we actually have responsibilities that women don't?
Damn, I don't know. I'm finna go home and fucking think about it, because that's...
Hey, see? Hey, this is why I freaking love this dude, man. This is why I love this page, bro, because it has people thinking, right? You know, it really has people thinking. It really has people saying, like, damn, I didn't really think of that, right? And look, hell, I didn't even think of that either. I didn't even think of that my damn self. I'll always hear women say, well, you know, male privilege, male privilege, male privilege. It's like, damn, I'm like, do we really have male privilege? When men can get accused and get thrown in jail just like that, right? But then you also talk about male privilege, where men have a responsibility. When you look at your relationships, men have a responsibility. If you want to be technical, women have women privilege, because you can sit up in a relationship and not do shit and have a man take care of you. That's women privilege. Let's just be real. It's women privilege to be able to sit up here and be a straight bop, but then not even get in trouble for it. And so much so that you even have a group of hoes sitting over here starting the slut walk. So it's just like, you know what I'm saying? People, what is the slut walk? The slut walk is a bunch of women, man, that's been ran through, that's sitting over here telling other people, hey, you should accept me for who I am. And shit, to some degree, you have to. Because generally, if you say something, you're labeled with an ist. You're labeled as a misogynist because you won't allow your girlfriend to go out here and go to clubs with a group of men. You're a slut shamer for sitting over here trying to hold a woman accountable, i.e. Megan Thee Stallion sleeping around and saying, hey, sis, you can't sleep around like that. That's just not a good look. Now you're a slut shamer. So it's just like, God damn. So when you look at some of these wars, when you look at when you look at the military positions, right? You got a lot of you women that say they want to be in the military, but they don't understand the work. They don't understand the work that comes with it. They don't understand the pressure that comes with having to make being a general, having to make those smart decisions. Do I want to damn press this button, or do I not want to press this button? Women probably sit up here and, well, I'm scared. We just want peace. Like, nah, bro, you gotta go out there and go fight. War has to happen. War has to happen in certain cases because some people are just unhinged and they're leading a nation of people. So it's just like you're just gonna allow those nations of people to come over here and just take over whatever because you don't want to freaking sit up here and fight because it's that time of the month.
It's a good ass question.
If we live in such a patriarchal society, where did all these laws come from that protect women and punish men?
That's a good one too. That's a really good one too. Honestly, I feel like it would probably have boiled down from either men that have like more of a feminine mindset, not to be like offensive, or like just men that have, daughters and wives and just I don't know where to make that specifically, not for them, but like essentially for them, to not only protect their daughters and wives and stuff, but everybody's daughters and wives.
Do you think that patriarchy is the cause of gender roles, or is it the result of gender roles?
No, gender roles are natural because of physiology and biology.
Right. Men were the hunters and women were the gatherers, right?
Yeah, I think it's kind of caused by, if you look at like the 1950s, the 60s American nuclear family, it was very definitive on what the gender roles of the man and the woman were, which I think has definitely contributed to the way we view a patriarchal society today and how we're trying to transgress from that.
Do you think patriarchy is the cause of gender roles, or is it the result of gender roles?
Result.
Historically, weren't men in the productive sphere while women were in the reproductive sphere?
Absolutely.
I feel like in that point in time, it was more so like, ladies cook, ladies clean, ladies take care of the babies, while the man handles, all the outside business, takes care of bringing in the income and all that fun stuff. So I feel like that's where that kind of originated from.
Isn't patriarchy just the natural evolution of men and women just giving into their expected roles?
No, because not every woman is reproducing. Not every woman wants to be a woman. Not every woman wants to have kids. So if you're putting women in this position where it's only put to reproduce, then you're silencing every other voice that we have. We're not only here to reproduce, and men aren't here to be laborers. So when you put it in that way, what are you saying? We're just here to pop out babies?
Well, did I ever say all women are all men? I'm just generalizing.
Well, see, here's the thing, right? What we have to understand is we're only put on earth for one thing, and it's to work. Everybody named mama is going to work until the day they dead. That's number one. And number two, women are put on earth to procreate. Yes. Now, I understand not every woman can have kids. I understand not every woman wants kids. I understand that. However, you're still here to have kids. You're still here to have a family. That's a purpose of life. That's a purpose of life. But because as society's moved on and we done had people water down life, and you have people sitting up here, man, coming up with some of these dumb ideologies such as them and they. You sit up here and you're gonna come up with some of these answers where, well, you know what, I'm not here, I'm not just on earth just to have kids. Well, what are you on earth here to have? What are you on earth here for then? You're on earth here to procreate and work. Literally, that's it. Literally, that's it. So, hey.
Yeah, you're generalizing, and that's an issue.
I'd argue that women were involved in some critical inventions. Radiation.
Can you name 5 famous female inventors? I'll give you one, Madame Curie.
That's the one I was thinking of. That's cheating. 5 famous female inventors. You know, I think it is a bit of a numbers game. There aren't as many famous female inventors, historians, mathematicians, any in those powerful roles historically as there were men.
That is correct. In fact, until up until the 70s, until the feminist movement.
So isn't patriarchy just the natural evolution of men and women just giving into their expected roles?
Of course.
So why is patriarchy seen as such a bad thing when women always expected men to provide?
Because they're the devil.
Isn't the idea of patriarchy oppressing women based on a false premise?
Of course.
Isn't the idea of patriarchy oppressing women based on a false premise?
In today's day and age, absolutely.
Okay.
Women's suffrage was 100 years ago.
Okay. When men were in charge, didn't they still make laws to protect women?
Yes.
If we lived in a matriarchy, would women make laws to protect men?
Hey, and they still do. And they still freaking do.
I mean, they should.
Okay, why aren't feminists fighting for those laws right now?
Because feminists are a fucking loud minority.
And prime example, right? Prime example. And it might not be a law, but prime example is Title IX. Is the Title IX meetings. You literally have meetings, right? If you were in if you play college sports, right? I talked about this before. If you play college sports, you will understand. I don't know if it's in every college, but it's mandatory. It was mandatory at my college. We had to have a Title IX meeting before every season because because you had counselors and all those people that understood that there were women that would sit up here and lie. Will sit up here and lie and falsely accuse a man of something that he probably didn't do. Right? But once again, we're living in America where they will allow women to sit up here and lie and make false statements and nothing happened to them. So they will have these meetings to make men aware of what some of these situations could cause these men to have, right? They understand that a woman can sit up here and lie, right? And if they say something fast enough, they can easily get that man gone. It happened before, right? So, you know, if anything, we're making it a whole lot easier for women. Also, you have believe all women, believe all victims. Go hand in hand. Well, KB, what does that mean? I mean, it says it's self-explanatory. Believe all women. If they sit up here and say, well, hey, you know what? Like prime example, Megan Thee Stallion. For 2 years, it was believe all women, believe all victims. While we believed her, oh, sis, yeah, man, you know, Tory Lanez need to get out of here, even though we don't have no evidence and no proof, get his ass out of here. Started to come find out, it was like, whoa. Sis is out here, bro. She's out here capping. But come to find out, people still want to sit up here and still keep bashing Tory Lanez. And that's a prime example. Y'all don't believe me? Look at this right here, right? I'm sitting over here, man. Look, I'm using this example, man, when they come out with this verdict. But yeah, right? So look, I'm sitting over here, man, you know, on Instagram scrolling, go to Shade Room. It's the baby's birthday today. I look at the comments because I knew the black women were going to get on his ass, right? So somebody says, but y'all will sit up here and support Meg though, right? Even though what she has done is 10 billion times worse than what the baby has ever done. Yet, and you have a chick sitting up here talking about, I don't care what Megan Thee Stallion has done or whatever, I'm still not going to counsel her. This and that. And it's like, God dang. So once again, right? No matter what a woman does, the society will still sit over here and cover her and make sure she's good. Just as long as she don't freaking say nothing that is that goes against society's ideas, such as you know, that, and then, you know, you also have your the black woman going against the black woman. So let's continue.
If women have been historically oppressed, where did the expression ladies first come from?
That's a good question. I would say, honestly, I don't know.
The women were the softer and fairer sex. So they treated women softer and fairer. Their place wasn't, they didn't need to be doing anything professionally because they were too soft for that. They were needed to be cared for. So that was where the whole idea, the current idea of like chivalry, of, you know, opening the doors, which I actually do support because it shows respect for women.
It was always like, oh, you need to find you a man that does this, and this. But it was never, you know, like people weren't teaching their sons like, oh, well, you need to have a wife that does this, this, and this. Make sure you have a girl that does this and this. It was always, you know, being more focused on girls finding the, you know, the most perfect man, the most chivalrous man, the man that's going to do all this stuff for you. But I feel like it really shouldn't be about, you know, finding somebody that provides all this stuff for you. It really should be about finding somebody that you guys can really make shit happen together and just elevate together.
And that's a fact. She's stating facts. She's stating facts. But we're going to leave it right there, man, because I got somewhere I got to be. And also, man, like I said, you know, we can sit up here and say that, you know, society or, you know, this is the patriarchy. However, there's too many laws, man, set up for women. Women out here winning 90% of the custody battles. Women are getting alimony. Women can falsely accuse men, make false statements, and still walk free till this very day. Right? So once again, women have far too many good things going for themselves and still sit up here and say that that they're still living in a patriarchy, that they're still oppressed. When you know, women back then, 100 years ago or whatever, when you had first feminism, the first wave feminism, they wanted to be able to vote. They wanted to be able to work, bring a second income in. And they have that, and now they want more, and they're getting more, and they're getting so much more, man, that it's affecting men, i.e., being able to lie on men and be able to accuse men and have men life ruined. Look at Deshaun Watson. Look at Sean Oakman. Look at DeAndre Francis. I still cannot get that man's last name right. But y'all do me a huge favor, man. Leave me a like, leave me a comment, leave me a subscribe.